honest to God, I was out,
Thursday
but,
to Tuesday. I said, I keep looking for a few days to get things done for myself.
oh my God, no.
I've never
Oh my
done it
God, I was
30
back to
years.
work and,
I'll get the same
Yeah, but
numbers.
think of
2
what I do
days.
and think of what you do.
well, you have a point there, Ken.
Okay, welcome to the Town of Litchfield Board of Selectmen's meeting for December 22nd. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board is just coming out of a paperwork review, manifest review. First up is the review of items in consent. In the consent folder for this evening, we have, Jason, one comment, there is no numbers around the manifest numbers.
Yes,
They're at the
sorry.
bottom?
No, that's prior week.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. We're, in the consent folder is the minutes for December 8th. There's the accounts payable manifest for this week, the payroll manifest for this week. I think I can
Here.
do this. Right. Give me those numbers. There's the Irwin Marine renewal of appoint as a deputy tax collector for boat registrations, the 2015 town holiday schedule, and a veterans tax credit application, one approved, one denial.
Your accounts payable, $29,106.07.
Yep.
And payroll is $45,274.56.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, move to accept the items under the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the consent as read, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 4-0-0. Before I get a little too further, Steve Perry is excused from tonight's meeting. Any requests for anything else to be added to the agenda for tonight? Any other business? Okay, hearing none, the agenda will stay as is. Next up is the administrative report, new business, encumbrances.
Encumbrances.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. All right. For context here, I'm estimating, based on what I know now, about $50,000 available at year end. That's less. That is about 1% of budget. So that's a somewhat unsettling spot to be. It's a lot closer for comfort. You know, those of you that have been here a few years know. I like to see us going into year end at about 2%. Last year, we were, about 1.5% by the time you finished encumbrances. So, it just is what it is. I mean, winter's been tougher this year, and we started the year with a default budget. So, what I'd like you to do is, if you're looking at the sheet of encumbrances here, I'm going to take you from the bottom and go up instead of from the top down. I'm going to just note that no actions required from the board on these, but we've recorded them just so we don't lose track of them. We had 2 articles that are non-lapsing warrant articles, so the money continues to be available to us without action of the board. So that would be the fire department SCBA, the breathing apparatus, and we have a small amount left in the road article. Re-encumbrances, these were things that were encumbered last year that we are going to re-encumber because we have not spent all of them yet, and there are still items pending. Network cabling for IT, we have at $1,200. Fire department gear grant, we have spent the lion's share of that. There's about $485 left there. We're expecting some bills that may or may not come in time before we close out the year. Emergency management exercise, and one small piece left of that impact fee update. So again, these aren't coming out of, when I say I think we have 50,000, these aren't counted in that. These are kind of in a separate bucket. What I call included items, These are things that I've already counted in my projection as being done. So again, these two are not coming out of that 50,000 I say we have. They're sort of, they've been built into my projection from the get-go because they're not really new purposes. Assessing services, we have $39,014, and then that's the carryover for next year. So we have sufficient funds for that reval year. Retainage for Mike Lane. We did the Mike Lane project this year. We'd carry a 10% of total project cost, which we would pay next year to American Excavating. So the combination of that $14,924.29 and the non-lapsing $1,520.85 below down there covers what we owe for retainage that we'll pay out next summer. Deductibles, we have vehicle repair, so $1,201.33. $1,000 of our deductible. Property liability has already paid us the additional $201.33. We've booked that. It just doesn't look like we're going to get the item repaired and billed by year end. So want to carry that across. Fire department gear dryer. We had been planning to buy that this year, issued a purchase order back in the fall for that. The washer took a little more time for install than we thought, so have not gotten around to the dryer yet. But has been something that we've committed, and I've shown is committed in the budget since the fall because that's when the chief did the purchase order on that. So, and we have one order of protective gear for fire department that I'm not expecting will get measured and shipped to us by year end. So those are things that we've already had in the pipeline that just we ran out a year on, or we're obligated already in the case of assessing and retainage.
So, just a quick question. You said there was a PO cut for the gear dryer?
Yeah.
So doesn't that already account for the money and hold it for even if it goes into next year?
No, it should, but because it's not a selectman's act of encumbering it,
Okay.
we can't encumber the money ourselves through a PO. I have to bring it back through this process. So that's kind of where some of these are, why you're seeing them, because the selectmen have to vote for an encumbrance.
I just thought if there was a PO open for a bill that's coming, as long as it's booked.
The PO's there, well, but then I could well sit here then and have nothing for you to do, because I could just PO everything and that
Okay.
would leave you PO'd.
Oh, no.
Okay, moving right along.
So do we want to just,
Okay.
Jason, continue on, sorry.
Okay, moving along in terms of the new encumbrances, I have, I have three things. The taser replacement, we had talked about, and this was back when you guys looked at the budget, we had talked about half of it being in the proposed budget and trying to find the other half at year end. So, here it is. This is the second half of it. Planning board has newspaper notice that for the couple of their the proposed zoning amendments. And I've been dragging my feet because of all of the rest of the budget issues on some of the supplies I needed for the records management project. I've held off on office supplies. That's about the balance I'd have in that line to continue ordering more materials to continue that project. Donna has been faster than my willingness to spend money on the materials, so. Small potatoes, $8,414. And that's what I'm looking against when I say there's 50,000 I have estimated remaining. That's the charge against that 50.
That leaves only $41,000 for any other once you catches come down the year.
Yeah, if everything I've put together right now holds, that's where we would be. Now, I think that my numbers include a snowstorm, so if,
You got rain coming.
yeah,
Watching
so,
it. Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Do we just make a motion to approve the sheet as delivered, or would we gotta do each line by line?
You can do them as presented, and I just would ask that the footnote be the new encumbrances be subject to available balance.
I'll move what Jason suggests.
Okay. So the motion's been made to approve what's been presented, including the new encumbrances which are subject to available funds at the end of the year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made in second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 4-0.
So yeah, just the observation, the subject to available funds there is, that simply is the way of saying that if it turns out the money's not there, I'll throw those overboard. You're not bound to those. I want to go back to my notes on this. As I was reviewing these numbers again, the 50 or 40 something is a lot closer for comfort than I'd like to be. We have some unexpected things. We also have, I think we've caught everything that may be out there. We have an interesting situation, actually, because the timing of payroll this year is on, we would normally pay on Thursday the 1st. However, banks are closed, so we are paying on December 31st. Now, from a wage point of view, generally we're okay because the way the audit adjustments are made, we pay for the wages based on number of days, and we're fine. The problem is we have associated costs with some of those payroll items that because they're being paid in December, I now have to pay the related costs in December. So like the New Hampshire retirement's the big one, because this is a 5-payment month for New Hampshire retirement, so I will be seeing an additional New Hampshire retirement payment, and that's a fairly substantial number. So that said, in October, we accepted and appropriated a list of various unanticipated revenues. These were things that had trickled in through the year, from a water district refund to the penalty on Corning Road to the refund for a couple years of the health trust surpluses. At that meeting, we appropriated the return of the surplus that went to employees. You had appropriated $40,000 for replacement police cruiser. And the balance, we were going to drop to fund balance, which was $27,603.88. That decision came sort of after the revenue filing for tax rate setting. So really the first time we can have that number be beneficial for tax rate setting is prior to September of 2015. So a couple things related to that. First is we set aside $40,000 for the police cruiser. The actual invoice, $42,014. So on that front, I'd ask that you revisit the appropriation of unanticipated funds and appropriate the additional $2,014 for the cruiser purchase.
Okay, so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? And that'll close out that cruiser purchase account, and that cruiser is 100% paid for.
And that will close it out, be 100% paid for from the unanticipated funds.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Motion passes 4-0-0. And that means we're at 25.
So that leaves, that leaves a balance of $25,589.
Okay.
And I guess what I'm asking you to do is revisit that decision and to continue and to hold that money as uncommitted at this time, rather than immediately transferred to fund balance. My concern here is we may need to use it to cover unanticipated expenses from 2014 as stuff still trickles through, or the discretionary encumbrances. at some point next year, we need to clear the funds in whatever manner the board finds appropriate, and then any unused balance would be available for 2015 tax rate setting, just as long as I said we close that all out before that September filing date for revenues. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring back a little bit of safety for us.
All right, so what's remaining is 25.
25,589.
And the motion just has to say, just pull it back to uncommitted.
Being retained as uncommitted.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we take the remaining $25,589 and we pull it back to being uncommitted.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 4-0-0. All right, I think that's all the clerical stuff, right?
Thank you.
All right, moving into, that closes out all the encumbrances and the
That
clerical
takes-
paperwork.
Yep.
So move into old business, default budget.
I have it. Do I have anything on default budget?
I've-
No,
We didn't approve it yet, right?
no, and you don't need to approve to end of January, so I think we're not, I mean, the numbers are what they are here. The attachment on the sheet you'll see is, I did plug it all into the state form, and I think we've made the state form available to the budget committee. That was sort of the follow-up from our last conversation.
Yep, I did see
So,
it in the portal.
On the draft so far, that's what I've done.
Do you find that there may be any substantial change needed between now and January?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to vote it so that it'd be, or do you want to wait?
We can wait, I mean, our next meeting is on the 12th, right?
Yeah.
Right.
On the 12th.
Yeah, if we do it on the 12th,
Because because the budget hearing is not until, do they have to have it for the
Budget hearing
right?
should be that week.
It's the
yeah.
15th.
it's the 15th, yep.
This is the board's pleasure, I mean, I don't have a problem either way. We can hold off to the 12th, we can vote it now.
I say we wait until Steve's here.
Okay.
Alright.
Yep, no problem with me.
Okay. Next?
So what do I have next on the list? Do I have warrant articles next? Yeah. All right, warrant articles. The warrant articles as written have been approved, reviewed and approved by council and with DRA. So I've gotten feedback back from both of them. And amazingly, I figured for sure somebody would have an issue with the way I had to write the fire department air pack article, and both of them found no problem with it. So, at some point we need to do the recorded tally votes. We can do that if you want to wait till you have all five here, we can do that in the second meeting in January. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I would prefer to get all 5.
And I guess the other
Yeah, it
thing.
would look better on the.
Yeah. The other thing that want to look at, and again, we could do this now if you'd like, is to talk about if there's any, with an eye toward who wants to be presenting these at deliberative session. The individual articles, so we can sort of work out the assignments.
So the operating budget,
Yeah.
that's the budget committee, right? We talked about that. I know in the past we've done it. Is it still the pleasure of this board to let the budget committee present their budget?
It's their budget.
Road improvements. I mean, I can do that one, it doesn't matter. I by default can do anything no one else wants to do.
You're not there, right?
That's the same
Yeah, I
time.
can be there, yeah.
Never pays.
I guess the question would be, in the case of the fire department ones, would it make sense to ask the chief to present those two?
Yeah, I mean,
Why
he'll be,
not?
yeah,
Sure.
I mean, he's the most knowledgeable on those, so.
We can certainly one of us can take care of the paving, that's not an issue.
I'll do the paving if you want me.
Public Works Expendable Trust Fund, that's Jason.
Okay, that's fine.
Public hearings,
The Public Works Expendable Trust Fund.
yeah, oh, no,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
public hearing,
Budget hearing, 15th,
15th.
what night is that?
Thursday. It's a Thursday night.
They do it on when the regular
Yep.
meeting is. Highway paint striping machine. Anybody want to present it? You writing down who's going to present?
Hmm?
You writing down who's going to present? Oh. If no one else wants to, I can do it.
I'll do it, I don't know.
Route 102 intersection in Albuquerque Ave extension.
You,
Wouldn't that,
Fine, I don't take anyone that
yeah,
people don't want to present, I'll present them, that's
That's the
fine.
way I feel too.
Yep.
I'll do it, it doesn't matter.
yep, that was, I did talk to Steve earlier, thinking that we may do, I mean, Steve didn't have Steve is of the same mindset, he said he'll present
whatever.
whatever,
So capital reserve fund management, that's,
I'll do that one,
let you do that one.
I'll do that one.
Tax cap. Frank, you wanna do that one?
Sure,
Cause you're well versed in it and what the rules are.
well, I've already been accused of trying to
That's fine, they can make use
play some shenanigans, I guess.
of it. Not anything. Really, we're asking the people if they want it. If people don't want it, they don't want it.
All right,
I think that's everything.
Health and Human
Okay.
Services.
Human service agencies?
Yeah, I can do that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically just passing through, okay. All right, so,
Matter of fact, can we pull the presentation we had from last year and get it up there? And just, we change the dates around, we can start working, plugging these things in?
sure.
After the holiday.
Yeah, if you don't see it this week, you'll see it next week.
Town, who's doing the wage salary plan?
I can do it. I mean, anybody can do it. I mean, I think to be honest with you, I think we all should get up there and say something about it. So, you know, Frank, because you did a lot of the stuff, if you want to present the kind of the market study you did and all that stuff.
I'll do the whole thing, that's fine, I don't
Yeah,
care.
but I think I do think we all should get up and
I agree.
support the employees and really encourage the residents to support it, so, yeah. I didn't mean to overlook, I just, this actually,
Yep.
next page over.
All right.
All right. Next.
So I think Frank had asked a question sometime after the last meeting, and actually it was a good question. I hadn't gone back and tallied up the information. We started in 2011 in the police contract. We offered an increased buyout incentive for health insurance for people who had health insurance that were otherwise covered. It started in that police union contract. And we expanded it to all town employees in 2013. What I went through is that I tallied up the savings based on participation. They reflect the savings from the buyout for the plan the employee would otherwise be eligible for under contract or personnel policy, and assuming that the employee who had chosen our insurance would choose the lower cost of the two plans, because we do offer two plans. I didn't expand the calculation to include any tax-related costs or savings. For tax purposes, this is counted as income, so it's subject to federal taxes. However, our policy also puts up to $2,500 into flexible spending account, which excludes some taxes. So you can start seeing the maneuvering of trying to do the full analysis, which is going to be rather complex. And that applies to employees who are eligible for those flex spending accounts. Some employees, we've just learned, are not eligible for those accounts because if their covered insurance is through a spouse that has a health savings account, you can't have a health savings account and a flex spending account. Be amazed what we've been able to learn over the past couple of years and all this stuff. And then also the return of unused FSA monies across the whole program, so buyout and non-buyout people, offset the administrative charges we paid for the FSA program. When we were with Health Trust charged us an administrative fee that quarterly and was based on a flat fee plus the number of participants. In July, when we moved to our new provider for flex spending, it's affiliated with the interlocal trust, there are no administrative fees charged. So, the numbers. In 2011, our estimated savings was approximately $5,892. In 2012, those numbers jumped to $19,823. 2013, $46,845. 2014, $52,707. So, this would show a combined savings of $125,227 over that time. And again, that's based on if the employees all take the insurance they would otherwise be eligible for. The what if I can't tell you here is to get into their mind of, okay, well, if we didn't offer the buyout, maybe they wouldn't take the insurance anyway. So, but it certainly has moved people, and you can see the past 2 years, we have, 5 and 6 people who are not taking our family coverage because they are covered elsewhere. And that's a substantial number. So.
Was this anything come out of the budget committee inquiry, or was it? No?
Just my warped and fevered mind.
It's kind of cool to see it down on paper.
It is,
'cause
yeah.
we all said it was going to save us money. We didn't realize.
Well, to me, it was more of a case of going back and let's do a due diligence. We
Sure.
said it was gonna save money. Did it save money? If it didn't, then we're wasting our time. That's why we're in a default budget. Just thought I'd throw that out there to
Because we're wasting time.
make an interesting conversation.
We're in a default budget because we're wasting time.
No, we're in a default budget because of
That's right. Yeah, we could have been spending even more money.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it was interesting to put the numbers together that way. So it's a good spot for us to be.
Anything else on this?
Nothing else on that.
Any members? No. Okay. Moving on.
I have nothing else formally under mine. I'd ask if there's any other questions under the informational items.
What's the state bid vehicle order?
Oh, sorry, that is me, isn't it?
Well, I
Yes, it is. Sorry.
wasn't sure if you were.
Yes, sorry, I misplaced that. Yes, state bid. I wanted to throw this out because we've been in a box on this the past couple of years because we have not been in line. Chief O'Brien has passed along state contract for police cruisers is out for 2015. To lock in the New Hampshire state bid price, they're looking for a final order to Ford by January 30th on the utility vehicle.
that's an order. When's the commitment to bring it in?
It's usually 3 months afterwards.
To actually get the vehicle here, yeah, it's going to be 3 or 4 months later. You're not going to see it
is to
until
lock in the
April, May.
price
This
and
is to
bid.
lock in the price, so they have one ordered. The past couple of years, we've been scrambling to see who has what stock available
Yeah,
and
this
what.
puts us in line for them to build one for us.
Right.
Versus us trying to find one that's not been bought by somebody that was extra or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, no, my only point was, we just purchased one at the end of this year, try and separate out temporarily
Mhm.
purchase, so that we don't have 2 of them that were purchased roughly at the same time and have better,
Yeah, by the time we
Life,
get,
if you
by,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying.
by the time this one gets into cycle, it'll be after town meeting, if not later, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Because by the time it gets delivered and gets fitted up, and on the budget, there's 2, right?
There are 2. You have 2 in the budget, so.
So what, if we say, based on that deadline, the chief, go ahead and put the order in, that commits us to 2 cars, and if we don't get a budget,
Yeah,
We'll
I
figure
would,
it
yeah, this is one of those, we need 2 vehicles, and we've talked about the 2 vehicles. What I would suggest, just because of the uncertainty, is put the order in for 1 vehicle, because we know we have to have 1. We need, the real plan is to have 2. You do the 1 now, and then I think to get back to Frank's point too, we do roll the dice on the second vehicle. It may cost us a little bit more, but if we can get it in service later in the year, that gets us a little bit of the calendar issue that he's talked about. And we aim for the July Massachusetts date.
Well, yeah, you place the order sometime in June, July. We
Yeah.
get it sometime in September for service.
Because what we don't have yet, and there's a little bit of, and it's short money, really, but there are times the Mass State bid is cheaper than the New Hampshire bid. So, I want, if we lock in a New Hampshire bid 1 here, we have that second vehicle. When we're successful at town meeting, then we do the right timing on the second vehicle.
So here's the what if. We are unsuccessful in town meeting. We are delivering a default budget.
Mhm.
I agree the urgency is that we need it. How do we pay for it?
We pay for it by
A deferred.
making the adjustments elsewhere in the budget. And remember that we're paying for, what we have in the budget is we're replacing 2 cruisers, but we're replacing 1 at full freight cost we have in the budget. And we have 1 that, remember, we're selling one of our vehicles to the detail fund because the second vehicle got in through the conversation we had about detail. So we're going to take one of the 2010s and put it to, or 2013s and put it to detail. So that's like a $25,000 cash out of the budget as opposed to 40.
Okay.
So that's the worst case.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve that we approve the chief's action on securing 1 vehicle through the bid process.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 4-0-0. With that, Jason, any other actions on that?
No, I don't need any other actions there. Just would point out under the informational items that we continue to receive information on the pipeline. Be sure to receive your own individual personal copy of the environmental impact statement. You all have your own copy coming from Kinder Morgan. The additional information we have set up now a spot on our website to be posting all that information so people can find that information there. And we'll be
For those folks
publicizing that.
interested, it's litchfieldnh.gov/pipeline. So, and we'll get it out on Facebook and stuff so people have links to it. Okay. It is a little after 6:30, so I'm going to open the floor for public input. Is there anybody in the public like to speak? Come on forward, John. How are you?
All right.
Merry Christmas to you.
Happy holidays. Yeah, thank you.
Same to you.
Name and address, John?
John Latcher, 10 McElwain Drive, Litchfield, New Hampshire, citizen. I would like to talk about to the board tonight about the proposed natural gas pipeline, excuse me, coming through Litchfield. I am opposed to this project. I know that you will be meeting with the representatives of this project in January 2015. As you know, several of the selected towns are adamantly opposed to this project, like Hollis, Mason, and Fitzwilliam, et cetera, et cetera. There will also be a tax revenue stream with this project. But these pipeline companies have a history of coming in after the fact and asking for abatements, and the money ceases to come back into the town. I understand that there are no plans to run or distribute lines to nearby homes. In the Northeast, gas pipes shrink slightly due to cold weather conditions to the extent that small leaks do occur. Also, water could freeze these pipes if it is in the lines. 2 other concerns are the compressors that pump gas through a pipeline by compressing gas at intervals. The engines run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And as you may remember, Erin Brockovich became a centerpiece of a Hollywood film, which involved a compressor station in Hinckley, California, which contaminated soil and an aquifer. These compressors also caused nearby homes in Maine to actually shake, and a jet engine roar caused by natural gas venting. My last issue is safety. The safety record of Tennessee Gas Pipeline, which had from 2006 to 2014, 92 significant incidents with their pipelines, resulting in over $88 million in property damage and 19 federal enforcement actions. In fact, Tennessee Gas Pipeline have had so many problems that from 2006 to 2013, federal inspectors were on site at Tennessee Gas Pipeline locations for 383 days, more than a year of inspections, plus 98 days of accident investigations. My opinion is I don't think it's fair to have those unlucky, unfortunate, tax-paying homeowners of Litchfield who live along the path of this proposed pipeline to have no choice but to accept the fact of living with constant fear and risk of accidents, leaks, or explosions. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to all of you and your family.
Mr. Latcher.
Thank
You too, Jim.
And you. Seeing nobody else from the public, we'll close public input at 6:36. Moving on the rest of our agenda, which is almost done. Selectmen reports. Mr. Bork?
I went to a budget meeting. First one, I can say was pretty interesting, but did a lot of votes. I'm not as good as Mr. Byron over there as far as taking notes. A lot of votes went on, so I would encourage you guys to watch it, see what happened. Other than that, I have nothing. Happy holidays to all of you.
Mr. Lemire?
Only my wish for Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah to everyone.
Thanks. Mr. Byron?
I was out of town last week, so there were no meetings that I attended. I think Mr. Bork, as well as yourself, Mr. Chairman, stood in at the Budget Committee meetings, so.
Yep. Yeah, I did do last Thursday's budget meeting, predominantly focused on the school, no town activity at all. As Kevin said, anybody who's interested in the budget process, it's up on our YouTube channel, YouTube/Litchfield TV. Take a watch at it. A lot of activity. The meeting I was in was mainly focused on the sped budget for the most part. But yeah, it's very interesting. So that's it for me too. And obviously, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah and all to everybody in the community. And that's it for that. Items, no, let's see, moving on. There's no items moved from consent. There was no other business. So if I'm not hearing any other activities for this board, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. We'll be adjourning. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody in the community. Our next meeting will be January 12th, 6 o'clock here at Town Hall. Have a good night.